When I was a child, I would try to do creative things on blank sheets of paper, writing stories, drawing, etc. And I was always disappointed with the lack of inspiration and motivation I would feel when confronted with a blank canvas, as it were. I'd feel my mind become as blank as the surface upon which I desired to create beauty. Eventually, after throwing myself up against such blank walls enough times, I realized that I needed rules or structure in order to actually create anything. Obviously, there's this idea that young children can express an unhindered kind of creativity, but I think it's more accurate to say that their worlds are so small that the brute force calculation their little minds do when confronted with a piece of paper has only a very small number of rules to select from, and those rules tend to be simple and highly persuasive to their subconscious behavior selection processes. The structures they have in place for creation are in fact so powerful that small children usually engage in heavily imitative but simple art, such as drawing pentagonal houses and ambiguous four-legged creatures. Did that make sense? Whatever, I don't have time to explain. Arts and crafts projects tend to be highly structured. They usually have specific results with only clearly defined dimensions along which one expresses actual creativity. Like how when you create a necklace out of beads, the most freedom you get is the kind and color of beads you string together. As we get older, our possible rules/structures for behavior increase rapidly, and we also tend to gain constraints, like the result has to be good, or cool, or pretty. There's a tipping over point in our lives where our brains have too many rules to select from and no idea which ones to pick, and so it just sort of shrugs and nothing at all comes to mind when we're presented with an otherwise unstructured opportunity to create. But artistic training is meant to remedy this. It takes the explicitly expressed rules in arts and crafts projects and the like, makes them more general and abstract, and turns them into subconscious overarching rules within older children's, teenagers, and adults' minds. Examples of these overarching rules are, in drawing, the principle of composition and the idea that you need to draw what you actually see and not idealized and oversimplified symbols of what you see. Anyway, tension and balance between structure and freedom is necessary for creativity to exist, and innovation only exists within the context of some pre-existing system.